Well, we are excited to welcome our next guest here on CK Mornings. This is the one and only star of The Lion King. This is the guy right here. This is John Finlay. How you doing, John Finlay? What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, and there ain't much going on, really.
Well, this is pretty neat to get you here on the show. I guess first of all, did you know when you were taping this that this was going to be such a big hit?
No, we never thought it was going to be that big. It was something that was just, I guess, a fluke, I guess you could say.
Well, we're looking at you now. You're unrecognizable. You have gone through quite the change here since we watched you on the documentary on the Lion King. How long has it been since the recording ended? Since that was all done to when we got to see it? How long elapsed over that time?
They weren't done filming until 6 months after the hearing and sentencing and stuff. So it was sometime, yeah, September, October last year.
Very nice. And then once it all came out, how did you feel you were portrayed when it finally hit Netflix?
They portrayed me as a drugged out hillbilly, a guy that didn't care if I was in a relationship with someone, I was going to cheat, and that ain't the case. That relationship didn't start till after Joe, and I've been 6 years clean since all that happened.
He's great.
Yeah, congratulations on that. I guess that's the story. And I was told, I think Jen, you were the one that said you've got to watch this show. It's a bunch of guys, and it's hilarious. No teeth and tattoos. Did they ask you to put a shirt on ever, John? Like, what was the story there? You never had a shirt on the entire thing.
Actually, I did. I did have a shirt on in quite a few of the interviews, but they didn't want to show that. So,
Jen, what do you got?
I don't know. I'm just really excited. When you were filming,
she's fangirling.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
when you're filming something for like Netflix, like a documentary like this, do you get like paid, or are you just doing it because they're like, you're in it here?
They don't really necessarily pay you. They buy the pictures or video that you have, but that's all they can really do.
So you didn't make any money off this? Is that what you're saying, John?
Yeah, I didn't really make any money off from it.
Really? Really? So are you like a big celebrity right now, or do people have a hard time recognizing you when you go out, when you hit the streets in Oklahoma, or you go for dinner? Do people know you as the guy from Tiger King?
Yeah, they do. A lot of people are starting to recognize me more. We go out in public, and there's at least 5 or 6 people that recognize us from each store or wherever we go. But yeah, I'm worldwide celebrity status right now.
He's more famous than all of us combined.
Wow, that doesn't
Well,
take much.
Australia is one of the biggest ones. Canada's another one. Some places in Europe are liking me a lot. The U.S. is liking me, but that's really the only areas that I've got that are really supportive of me right now.
Well, that's really cool. We're awesome that we got to have you on here. This is John from the Tiger King. He was one of the husbands, but I guess that's not exactly true. Maybe you can explain that, John. That's not. Okay, tell us.
Already given the
We
word.
were never legally married, ever.
Never legally married.
Yep.
Were you
At the time that happened, huh?
Were you ever gay?
There's a fluidity about sexuality.
Yeah.
You can't actually you never really one way or the other. It's what you like is what you like, or what you love is who you're gonna love. It doesn't mean that you're one way or the other.
How did you meet Joe?
I met Joe the day after I filled out my application, and that was the day we were going to Dodge City, Kansas.
Had you ever had any experience with big cats?
None whatsoever.
And how did you get out with all your limbs?
Uh, I was very careful, and I didn't trust many people to watch my back, but I knew what I was doing because I dealt with some of the most dangerous animals there are. I mean, the crocodilians, you don't necessarily get to play around much. You mess up, you're going to end up either missing a limb or completely dead.
Matt, did you have something?
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask about, we had the Netflix doc first, and then some of those extras came out afterwards with some more questions for some of the people. And one of the things that just came up in there was that Joe was terrified of big cats. Can you confirm or deny that? What was your experience?
From my experience, he was not, but there was a lot of times that he was scared to do certain things. But I mean, who's not really got a certain fear of the big cats? When you mess with them that long, there's certain ones that are going to put a deep fear in you, and you're going to get scared.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I'm sure you've seen some things coming out of it while you were there at the center there. Like, what was your biggest memory when you look back at that time? What was the biggest thing you take away from that?
Um, the animals are the biggest, but the next after that would have to be the Animal Miracle Network. We helped so many people get their like wish in that they wanted to pet a baby tiger or lion or some type of exotic before they passed away, and there were so many memorable ones, and Alyssa Finlay had to be the biggest one that was made the biggest impact on us all, and she was the first one that we did.
Yeah. What if Matt and I wanted to buy a tiger right now, and Jen wanted to buy some kind of other big cat? Would you be able to hook us up?
No, I don't have any connections in that world anymore. I
No way.
completely got away from it.
Really? What do you
Yep.
do now, John? What's your life now?
I'm a welder now.
Do you get a lot of slack at work for your time on the Netflix doc?
No, they're just like a fangirl. They hang around and they talk, and it's like it's really hard for me to get my work done. But
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
at the time they're sitting there talking to me, I'm sitting there just trying to do my own work. And
That is crazy.
Now,
That is crazy.
outside of work stuff, like how busy are you? Because I know you're on Cameo, so that you can get some bookings for saying happy birthdays and stuff to people like that. So how busy are you outside of work? I mean, you're doing this thing right now. You've been on all kinds of radio shows and stuff like that.
I've been on. I think this is my third or fourth Canada show. Um, I've been on eight different radio shows in Australia. I can't even begin to tell you how many of in the United States I've been on because he's got me so busy at times. There's at least 2 to 6 interviews a day right now, and then I got cameos later, and then work around the house and the horses, the dogs, and her college. So,
John,
yeah,
go ahead.
I forgot my college speaking too. So,
You're doing a speaking tour?
well, kind of. It's speaking to college kids and kind of doing motivational speaking.
Good for you. Good for you. When was the last time you talked to Joe Exotic? When was the last time you had any contact with him?
2018.
And there's
That
been
was the
nothing
last time
since?
Huh?
There's been nothing since?
Nothing since.
Really? Any conversation with his current husband? There's never been anything. Once you left, and you were gone.
Yep. Once I left, I was gone. That was it.
Would you ever work in like that world again with animals, like at a zoo or anything, even if it was more like regulated?
No, that's where I would create my own world and do my own thing. I wouldn't have all the others in it.
That's very cool. Very cool. Matt, Jen, do you guys have anything else for?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I got tons of questions. One of the things I wanted to ask about, we haven't touched on this too much yet, but the teeth. I mean, you have the permanent fixtures right now, or is it just dentures?
No, they're dentures right now. I do plan on getting implants done, but we'll see how everything goes before I
Get a
do all
couple more
that.
cameos in there.
Yeah, nice, exactly. And now for the cameos, I was wondering too, have there been any requests for people like, hey, can you take your teeth out so you look more like you did in the documentary or not?
No,
No, eh? No?
not yet.
Not yet. Now you gave ideas,
Yeah,
Matt.
exactly.
That's funny. Jen, you had a question.
Have you met anyone else that was like in the documentary, like Doc Antal or Carol?
Yes.
You know, I actually have met Carol twice, but it was in depositions, so I never really talked to her one on one. So I don't really know the woman, but Doc Intel, he is the nicest guy I've met in a long time, and he doesn't do anything to hurt anybody. He does things to actually try and help people. And as far as like the conservation goes, he's one of the frontline guys to help prevent or help the conservation of the tigers and other wildlife.
So, Carol Baskin, did she?
You know, like I just said, I don't really know the woman, so I'm not gonna really speak bad of her or even talk about that because it is an open investigation now. So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna try and put myself in some legal battle with her again. I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
You just can't win with her.
Good
That's
choice.
smart man. Smart man. Matt, Jen, what else do you have?
You got this thing you've been saying, and I saw it on the Facebook page that you got set up and everything. You know, stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive. I just want to say it's been an incredible turnaround since like the way they said, or you said that they portrayed you on that show. I mean, you're right, like methed out hillbilly kind of deal going on, but you cleaned yourself up really well. And how did that road to recovery go, I guess, or how did that sort of go? It sounded like maybe if it's been 6 years, it's been about 6 years since you were there, right? 2014 you left, is that right?
I actually left in 2018, but I left Joe in 2014,
Right.
and since then I've been in two or three different relationships, and one was where my daughter was born, and then the one I'm in now, and she's been she's been so much more than I could ever ask for.
So
Oh,
they
that's
really helped you along then. Yeah,
Yeah, she's been the biggest help of them all.
nice. So
That's
what would
why
your
we're
advice?
engaged.
Yeah, no, is that yeah? You got married coming up. I know exactly. Yeah. So what would your advice be to you're speaking to some of these people who are you're trying to help out as well. What's your main point of advice for those people trying to get themselves out of a situation like that?
You know, it's all up to them. They have to look at the bad and what they could gain from possibly leaving. If you leave a bad situation, don't look back. Look forward, and you have a bright future ahead of you. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive, because when you focus on that negative, it's gonna drag you down to somewhere you don't want to go, and possibly put you in situations that you could could turn out really bad.
Mhm.
But I've focused on the good, and everything's been so good for me here lately. And I mean, that's the only way I really think anymore is about the positive.
Nice.
We're happy to get you on, John. We do appreciate it. Jen, you have another one. I know you do.
What's the first thing you're gonna do
She's
when
fangirling
quarantine's
hard.
over?
Sorry, Jen, what were you saying?
What's the first thing you want to do when like all the quarantine and lockdown and stuff is lifted?
Unfortunately, I have to go back to work. But if my agent doesn't have me too daggone busy, I'm gonna go fishing,
Nice.
and I'm
Right
probably
on.
gonna stay away for the whole weekend.
Good for you, John. Good for you, John. We appreciate. Yeah, you're right. You have come a long way, and seeing your story, obviously during the documentary, and then seeing some parts of what you are now, and then we thought, man, that would be great to get him on. And of course, it's one of the biggest shows in Netflix history. So I'm hoping you're doing well, and we appreciate you finding some time for us here today.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me on. And I love my Canada people.
We love you too. We love you. Thanks, John Finlay from the Tiger King here on CK Mornings.